Opinion: how blaming Einstein for World War III is a mistake. So who was Albert Einstein, and how is he connected to a potential World War III? Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955, is a man who is synonymous with brilliance and scientific accomplishments. He's a German-born physicist who formulated the first of his breakthrough ideas while working as a clerk in Bern's Swiss patent office. After earning his reputation with 4 scientific essays published in 1905, Einstein achieved global acclaim for his general theory of relativity and a Nobel Prize in 1921 for explaining the photoelectric effect. History shows he is one of the most well-known and respected physicists ever. His contributions to physics have impacted the world in several ways. His ideas of relativity have far-reaching ramifications for modern technology, similar to Isaac Newton, 1642 to 1727, who created the groundwork for comprehending more complex topics on how planets remain in orbit and travel across space. He also significantly contributed to light and color. He enhanced electric telescopes, which are still in use and bear his name. Despite his outstanding accomplishments, there has recently been a growing sentiment that blames Albert Einstein for his role in the invention of atomic bombs, which ultimately led to the devastation of Nagasaki and Hiroshima during World War II in 1945. The development of the atomic bomb, however, is often linked to Einstein's name because he urged President Franklin D. Roosevelt to support research toward developing an atomic weapon during World War II before the Germans did. Einstein had written to alert him that current research on uranium fission chain reactions indicated that a chain reaction might create vast quantities of power, and that, by harnessing this power, the building of powerful bombs was feasible. This letter prompted the Manhattan Project, which made the first atomic weapon. After World War II, in 1947, President Truman signed the National Security Act, which marked the start of the Cold War 1947. George Orwell, an English writer, used the phrase in a 1945 essay to describe what he thought would be a nuclear standoff between 2 or 3 monster superstates, each possessed of a weapon capable of wiping out millions of people in a few seconds. The United States and the Soviet Union engaged in an arms race during the Cold War that was not simply the consequence of technological advances. The driving forces were geopolitical pressures, ideological divisions, and a great dread of nuclear war. Both nations considered atomic weapons as a measure of self-defense and deterrent rather than as weapons of aggression. The legislation created the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, and the National Security Council, signaling a change in American foreign policy toward restricting Soviet influence worldwide. The Soviet Union retaliated by building its nuclear weapons program, which sparked an arms race. During the 1950s and 1960s, both nations built their nuclear arsenals, with one continuously seeking to outdo the other. The 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis pushed the world closer to nuclear war than ever before. The situation was only resolved peacefully via diplomacy. After the devastation of Nagasaki and Hiroshima during World War II, Einstein became an outspoken advocate for nuclear disarmament, urging global leaders to strive toward a nuclear-free future. His actions led to a series of arguments that his work was responsible for igniting an unsafe arms race between nations, creating the possibility of World War III. In our opinion, these claims are misguided and overlook the complex social and political processes that led to the development and deployment of nuclear weapons. Sadly, Einstein's other scientific accomplishments are ignored when blaming him for the prospect of World War III. Notwithstanding, he was a pacifist who opposed the use of nuclear weapons. Thus, that should be remembered first. He was among the first scientists to understand the dangers of atomic research and the ramifications of the technology in the wrong hands. Einstein addressed a letter to President Roosevelt in August of 1939, warning him of the hazards of nuclear research and encouraging him to create worldwide atomic energy restrictions. The letter aided in the launch of the Manhattan Project, which sought to develop nuclear weapons before Nazi Germany. Einstein's work undoubtedly contributed to the creation of nuclear weapons. However, the choice to deploy them was taken by political leaders, and the complicated geopolitical context of the time had a significant impact. So yeah, it would be incorrect to blame him for the likelihood of a potential World War III, as political leaders and the international community have the power to avert future crises. Einstein later expressed sorrow for his involvement in the atomic bomb's creation, and spent the rest of his life pushing for peace and nuclear disarmament. What's your opinion on how everyone is blaming Einstein for a potential World War III? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned to our channel and turn on post notifications for new updates. Be sure to like and subscribe.